Welcome to This Is Biz. I'm Ricky Scott, the founder of Linux App Productions, and today we're here with Lex Hurson, a musician and upcoming filmmaker who founded South Productions. How you doing, Lex?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for joining me today. Uh, I actually want to hop right into it. So I know you're a musician and a filmmaker. Where do you want to start at?
Film. I'm more
Okay,
passionate.
okay. So what inspired you to jump into film? Describe the journey.
So I wrote poetry growing up, and I wrote short stories growing up. Um, I got out of the military. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, and I didn't know what a screenwriter was. And I met a guy, and he introduced me to screenwriting. From there, I started writing. Wrong format, but started writing stories in a film format, and it's been pretty dope. I mean, it's stressful at times. It's like science and mathematics put together when writing a screenplay.
Very true. Like writing to me as a filmmaker too, writing is the hardest part to me. And I've worked with you before. I've seen some of your writing. You got the writing thing down packed. So kudos to you on that. Um, what are some works you've done? What have you written? And what are you working on now?
I've written. I got a plethora of scripts I've written, short films. Got some pilots I'm working on. For those who don't know what pilot is, it's a like a Netflix series, a TV series. Um, and I got some screenplays. Two. I got two that I've finished, 100 pages. Um, won't go too far in depth, but that's what I'm working on.
What are some short films you've done and produced and already have published?
I wrote, directed, and filmed Jumbled. That was my first short film. Um, and Karen, that was my second short film. Um, Edited, of course, by Ricky Scott. Yeah.
Karen's a gem. Go see it if you haven't. Okay. All right. So, what's one word? I know how I would describe your films, but what's one word you would use to describe your films?
Um, Not just like my first film, Jumbled.
Jump.
Uh, yeah, I kind of bring confusion into my screenplays. Um, I don't intentionally do it. It just happens like that.
You like that? I mean, it all. I say it all plays into like the fabric of like what life is. Life is jumbled. Life is confusion. So I think you capture it perfectly. Moving on. What are some of your long-term goals with South Productions in your filmmaking journey?
Um, Long term goals, to get with a distributor like Warner Brothers or Universal. Be grandfathered in under those. Making my own films. Producing other short films. Um, Winning some significant film contests. That's uh that's some goals.
Do you, so we're in an age and time right now where I think Black voices are coming to the forefront. How do you feel about that? Do you think the industry's changing? Do you think it's more open to voices like ours, or what are your opinions on that?
Well, talking to a few fellow, you know, Black and Latino filmmakers, they said opportunities are coming and doors are opening more prominently. So I mean, it's a waiting game. We'll just have to see. If it happens, awesome. If it doesn't happen, we just keep grinding. Just,
Hmm.
instead of using that key, you're just gonna kick the door down now. Not
Very
using
true.
the key anymore. We're just gonna kick the door down. Not illegally, but we're gonna kick the door down.
I
Yeah.
feel that. And how important is the Black experience to you and your filmmaking experience?
I like to write what I see, and I also like to write about what people don't talk about often. The Black mental health issues. Um, experience with my experience. Some seeing some people with mental health issues and dealing with them. And seeing some things that and experiencing some things that people wouldn't understand. So I like to put it in the cinematic format.
I think what makes a successful director, producer, anyone creative, is someone who can use like their experiences and their perspective to create a story, you know, like, and that's something that you have, not saying you experienced that, but you have your perspective that you bring to the story, which gives it its own uniqueness. Well, I think that's key, that you should always do with all your films, and everyone should do with all their films, is to bring their unique perspective to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a filmmaker, what advice would you give to someone who wants to be a filmmaker but doesn't know where to start?
So start reading like black poets, and start with poetry and novels, and then work your way into studying classic films like from the 70s, on up to the 90s. Just start studying.
Who are some people you studied in your like specific in your journey?
I studied Spike Lee. Um, I studied a little bit of Jordan Peele, of course. I got into uh it's a lot. I got into Tarantino. Um, I got into Woody Allen. I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, they all have in their films. They all have one unique thing about them, and that's one thing I picked up that stuck with me. It's just you know, Jordan Peele's got that. He's got a subliminal message in his films. You see the subliminal messages. Spike Lee, he's got the that POV camera angle. I don't know how he does it. It's almost like somebody's riding on a hoverboard in front of the actor. He got that special POV. He's got that groovy style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so those guys they motivated me, inspired me.
So I definitely agree with Peele and Tarantino. I'd also say Christopher Nolan, The Inception, Dark Knight, like
Oh
all
yeah,
his
yeah.
Memento. Have you seen Memento?
I haven't seen Mental yet.
That's your homework for tonight, is to watch Memento. Memento is like I'm not gonna say anything. You should watch Memento. It's really jumbled too. So, um, uh, what are your two favorite films? I know it's a hard question. Or yeah, what are your two favorite films or your favorite film?
So Malcolm X is my number one favorite film. I feel like Spike Lee did a great job of showing the reality of that situation. Um, I see in second, that's a hard one. I want to say Cabin in the Woods. It's a horror film. It's between Cabin in the Woods and Get Out. Um, that's just from studying.
And I think based off of your films, those both make sense why they're your favorite films. Because Get Out is has like that. It's a overall a social satire on like black and
Yeah,
white, and then Cabin in the Woods is horror, and then Malcolm X is like the black experience, and that's what I would say your films are, like satire on the black experience and black and white relations. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
see that.
yeah.
So, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned so far on your journey with South Productions and filmmaking in general?
Um, don't jump out in the water until you're ready to swim. That's something that I felt like early on I was jumping out there too fast. Like with my first film, Jumbled, man, I had like a short script with like 12 different characters or 13 different characters. I've learned to minimize the amount of characters I have in my short films based off of people, no call, no show. I won't say finances because I always pay my actors, but you know, people wanting more money than they deserve. And the story just being off, like the story just being all crumbled up and unorganized. That was a hard lesson.
Learn
So,
from it.
right, if I want to film a short, I'll make sure to have at the maximum 5 people in it. At the maximum, and it works. It works now. that formula works. While I'm at, this level of filmmaking, because once I get up there, cast how many people I want and need. So I have the means and the budget.
That all come. So, how has networking helped you specifically in your filmmaking journey? I know we talk often about like how you get advice from this person, or you went to this event. Like, how has that all helped you overall?
So with film, it just naturally happened. I just met some, like I said, I met a guy, and he just basically it's kind of the analogy of he can fish for me or teach me how to swim. I mean, fish. He kind of taught me how to go out there and network with people. So I tell them my stories, and if they like it, they give me their card, and I'll email them a script, and if they like it, you know, um, they'll give me feedback. Even if they don't like it, most of the time they give me the correct feedback I need. And it's networking is like it's about having something that people need. You can't just use people. They You got to be willing to give to get. You know, that's in film. I'm not sure about anything else. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's life for real, for real.
yeah,
I think that's a lesson you can take outside of film in any industry you go to.
yeah.
Yep. So we've been talking about film, but I also know you have like a focus on music too. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I've been making music since I was a kid, playing around with it. When I was in my late teens, early 20s, I took it serious. I went to college in New York. Um, Went up there and networked with a lot of people. I made an EP and I landed a record deal with Atlantic. Um, it kind of went south, and after that, I focused on having a job, and I dabble in music here and there. I got an album I'm working on now. Um, just figuring out my sound and playing around with it. If something happens with music, it happens. Um, I love music just like film. Um, and we'll just see. Music is like a sensitive subject because I'm sensitive about my sensitive about my music.
I
Yeah.
feel you. Well, you should also note that for like all the films you've done, and actually for almost all of my films, you've done the soundtracks for. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Of
So
course.
the scores, I should say. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's just something you should be proud of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I always want to be top tier though.
I feel that. So how has we're in the middle of like coronavirus, how has that affected like you specifically in your filmmaking, with all of the limitations going on?
Well, I got a short accomplished. I did a short. I've been studying a whole lot of pilots, a lot of TV shows. Breaking Bad. I'm on I think season 3 is Breaking Bad now.
Breaking Bad's in.
Um, yeah, and I finished True Blood, that series. I'm also watching Vampire Diaries. I'm not. I mean, you would expect people to be writing during the pandemic, but I'm really studying and just writing notes down, from the camera angles to the dialogue to the postures, to the environment they're filming in, to reading the script and then watching the pilot. Um, I feel like if you don't study, and you don't, how can you write if you don't study? Yeah.
Very true.
So
Sound
that's
like you,
what pandemic's done for me. It's allowed me more time to watch TV shows, and excuse to be lazy.
I feel that. Have you seen
Yeah.
Dexter?
No, I've seen it on it's available on Netflix, right?
Dexter is really well written. Like
think
And
I started it. It's a show about a guy who starts out with him with a dead body or something like that, a girl, and he's covered in plastic or something.
yeah, it's like I'm not gonna give too much away, but like think like Batman, but like darker.
Oh,
Think
all right,
darker.
yeah, I'll
But
check
yeah,
that.
where can people find you, social media wise?
On Instagram, I'm at Lex the number one G. So Lex one G on Instagram. Twitter Lex Hurson, just LEXHURSON on Twitter, and that's it. You don't want to come on my Facebook; it's a little ratchet.
You still got a Facebook.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, Mark, thank you so much for your time today. Before we go, we're going to show the audience a live on Linux clip of Karen, your new film. Anything you want to say?
Okay. Um. No, just check it out and leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share it. If you dig it.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, thank you again for your time today, and take a look at the clip.
The hell? I said no lettuce. Manager, please. Manager!